This is the FallPolitik YouTube channel. Today we will discuss about something that is going on, let's say, in Middle East. Of course, this is the where the biggest things and situation happens in this time. I want to see this map here in Google Earth images. So this is Saudi Arabia, and by looking it only in the map, you can see that Saudi Arabia has nothing. It's clearly a desert. It's a, let's say it, dead land. How else you can say it? The only thing that I imagine that Saudi Arabia can export, except oil, is dirt. So Saudi Arabia imagine that tomorrow they have no more oil. What will they will do? In comparison with Iran, that has a stable economy that also has oil, but it's not based on oil export like Saudi Arabia. And the price of oil, like we have seen the last years, has dropped dramatically. So the thing is that Saudi Arabia, with so much desert, let's say, and not only Saudi Arabia, but also the other Gulf countries, how can they proceed and continue in the way like that? I think that the only way that Saudi Arabia and the countries of Gulf is to expand in the north. And how they can expand in the north? By exporting, of course, the ideology of Saudi Arabia and the religious ideology, Islamic religious ideology of Saudi Arabia, of course, is the Salafi Wahhabi ideology. So, with of course, with a blessing of the U.S. This is how you can see it, the city of Riyadh at itself. The thing is that all those buildings and all those things were constructed and financed by the export of oil of Saudi Arabia. So the thing is, how can Saudi Arabia expand in the north? Of course, with Arabian Spring, how you can say it, that happened in all the region, like in Syria, of course, and Iraq. Also, a big enemy of the Saudis was always the Ba'ath movement in these countries, like Syria and Iraq. Of course, they are very against Saddam and very against Bashar al-Assad. How you can see that? So the fear of the Saudis is the movement of Iranian to blockade the so-called Sunni Wahhabi expansion in the north. Let's say that in the future it can save Saudi Arabia from for the advances of the technology. The advances that we have in technology against the oil and things like that, it will make Saudi Arabia and those exports of this country irrelevant. So yes, of course they will stay in the dirt. They will have nothing else to do. And the problem is that they targeted against the so-called Shia pillar against the Russians in the north. So we have here three countries: Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and those countries, they are Shia, of course, with a city like Karbala. It's a saint city for the Shias, Basra, of course, and they create like a dam. Sorry if I say it wrong. Against the this Takfiri Salafi Wahhabi ideology. And of course, we if you go in Afghanistan and like in Pakistan, and cities that they are also Sunnis and destabilized. Iran, of course, want a more stable region for its own, for their own reasons. Oh, of course, we have India with nuclears and Pakistan that Americans give from the Cold War, and now we have this big problem. If you can see it geographically, it's very very problematic for all the region. And the thing is that Russia has expanded her, let's say, dominion in the Central Asiatic countries, the former Soviet republics. And we have these countries, like I said, Iran, Libya, uh, sorry, Lebanon, Syria, and this, that they are against the countries of the Gulf. Of course, we have Turkey, that they are allies with the countries of the Gulf, and we have a strange role that Egypt plays in this situation. We don't actually know what theirs how can you say it? There's what they want to do in this situation. So here we are, and I think that it's very difficult about the situation here. So I believe that it has not so much. Of course, there is the how you can say it, the background of the ideology and religious fanatism that Saudi Arabia exports around the world, but also it is based on the pure economic. Saudi Arabia wants something more in the north, and they believe that they will achieve it by groups that they finance in these regions. For example, imagine if ISIS or Al Nusra or the other jihadist groups in Iran and in Syria and this take the control. The Saudis, they believe that those people will be loyal to them. So actually is this, they expand because always we talk about how the Islamic world now create more terrorism or things like that, and everyone when they discuss like this came up, talk about the end of the Caliphate, the Ottoman Empire, the end of its Ottoman Empire. But the thing is that many the major reasons today is actually the death of the Saudi economy. Of course, no tomorrow, or I don't know, even in 10 years, but these people think very forward, and they think that it is better to create a situation that the Saudi economy and strategically in any other aspect uh, go over in the north. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy this video. Cheers.